Roblox is adding an age estimation feature for teens. The FCC plans to ban Chinese technology in undersea cables. And Samsung's chairman was cleared of fraud by South Korea's top court. It's Thursday, July 17th, and here's a quick look at tech in the news this morning from Engadget. Roblox is joining the growing ranks of online platforms that are trying to better understand the ages of their teen users. The company is rolling out a new age estimation feature for teens 13 and under. With the update, teens will be prompted for an age check that requires a video selfie in order to access its new, less restrictive chat feature called Trusted Connections. Roblox is relying on third-party identity company Persona for the actual estimation, and users who failed the check will also have the option of providing an ID. Once teens have unlocked trusted connections via video selfie or sharing an ID, they will be able to participate in chats with friends without filters, including party group text and voice chats. Roblox has previously faced scrutiny for not policing its chat features enough and making it too easy for adults to seek out children on the platform. The company notes in its announcement that parents will be able to monitor their kids' trusted connections via parental control features, and that the feature is intended only for people who teens already know and trust. Teens are only able to add trusted connections via their existing contacts list or a QR code, while Roblox is notably not using the term age verification. The new feature comes at a time when there are increasing calls for social media companies and other platforms to check the ages of their youngest users. Reddit and Blue Sky recently announced age verification features for users in the UK, a change required of major platforms ahead of a new online safety law going into effect. Age verification mandates have also been gaining steam in the U.S. A number of states have introduced age verification measures for social media, though laws in Arkansas and Utah have so far been blocked. Utah also recently passed a law requiring app stores to verify users' ages, an approach that has been endorsed by companies like Meta and Snap. And the Supreme Court recently upheld a Texas law that requires websites hosting adult content to conduct age verification checks. Roblox, which, unlike most online platforms, allows children under 13 to have accounts, is in a slightly different position, and for now it's billing its age checks as optional. But already having an age estimation feature in place could certainly be useful should it be required to take an even stricter approach in the future. The Federal Communication Commission plans to vote on new rules that will ban the use of Chinese technology in undersea cables. That's according to a press release from FCC Chairman Brendan Carr. The proposed rules will apply to any company on the FCC's existing list of entities that pose, quote, an unacceptable risk to the national security of the United States, end quote. Besides prohibiting the use of covered equipment, the FCC's new rules will also limit the ability for Chinese companies to receive a license to build or operate cables that connect to the U.S. Undersea or submarine cables are a key piece of Internet infrastructure and a potential site of foreign espionage in the eyes of the FCC. Banning, or at least severely limiting the influence of Chinese companies is an attempt to benefit American cable providers while hurting the country's perceived enemies. During President Donald Trump's first term, the FCC made similar moves to prevent mobile carriers from using Chinese equipment in the U.S. Trump signed a law that required carriers to rip and replace old Huawei and ZTE mobile infrastructure, and the FCC provisioned funding to make it happen. The new rules around undersea cables are being proposed by a very different commission, though. Currently, there are only 3 commissioners on the FCC, down from the typical 5. Under Carr, the commission has taken a much more aggressive approach to regulating the telecommunications industry. bordering on violating the First Amendment. Carr has threatened to investigate companies for their diversity, equity, and inclusion policies and committed to not approving any mergers of companies that insist on keeping them. The FCC is expected to vote on the new rules on August 7th. Besides being consistent with past FCC actions, they could be justified as a way of securing American infrastructure following the widespread salt typhoon hack that affected U.S. carriers and other companies last year. South Korea's top court has upheld an appeals court ruling to dismiss all charges in a long-running fraud case against Samsung chairman Lee Jae-yong. The accounting fraud and stock manipulation charges stem from a merger of two Samsung subsidiaries in 2015. Prosecutors had accused Lee of manipulating share prices to help clear the way for the merger in an attempt to consolidate his power. Last year, a court ruled that the prosecutors failed to prove their claims. The case has worked through the appeals process since then. In a statement to Reuters, Samsung's lawyers said the latest ruling confirmed that the merger had been completed legally and added they were sincerely grateful to the Supreme Court. Back in 2017, Lee was sentenced to 5 years in prison after being convicted of bribing public officials with regards to the merger. However, the Supreme Court overturned the decision and ordered a retrial. As a result of that, Lee was handed a 30-month prison sentence and served 18 months before being paroled. Then, South Korea President Yoon Suk-yeol, who was removed from office this year and recently rearrested over a failed martial law attempt last year, later pardoned Lee. While the Supreme Court's ruling had been widely expected, it clears a layer of legal uncertainty related to Samsung. It will allow Lee to focus more of his attention on Samsung, which earlier this month projected a 56% drop in operating profit for the April through June quarter compared with the same period last year. That is due in large part to sluggish sales of its AI chips. Thanks for listening. There's more to these stories and more tech news at Engadget.com. This episode featured journalism from senior editor Carissa Bell and contributors Ian Carlos Campbell and Chris Holt, and was voiced and produced from the sound studios of Spoken Layer by me, Steve White. Enjoy your day. I'll be back tomorrow morning with more tech news from Engadget.